6,000 Central Americans are being housed in a sports complex in Tijuana hoping to get into the U.S. They have marched for weeks on end from Honduras and Guatemala, but have now come to a halt at the final hurdle, unable to get past Border Patrol agents who have hurtled tear gas at them this week to stop their efforts to scale the fence. On Thursday, torrential downpours flooded the already rancid camp, where there are now fears of a breakout of TB, HIV, AIDS, chickenpox and lice. Afterwards, as the clouds cleared, a rainbow filled the migrants' view of the land they want to call home. Scroll down for video. Despite traveling as much as 4,500 miles, much of it on foot, hundreds of migrants have already accepted free flights home, rather than stay longer in the filth-strewn sports complex that has become their temporary home. Lice and respiratory infections are becoming endemic inside the Benito Juarez sports complex, and health workers warn that it's a matter of when, not if, an outbreak of serious disease sweeps the scruffy labyrinth of tents and tarps sheltering an estimated 6,000 people. Tijuana's health department revealed on Thursday that there are cases of migrants suffering from tuberculosis, chickenpox, skin infections, and there is now a risk of an hepatitis outbreak due to the squalid conditions. So far, there have been 3 confirmed cases of tuberculosis, 4 of chickenpox, and 4 cases of HIV/AIDS. The tumble-down facility 100 feet from the Mexico-U.S. border has become the last refuge for members of the snaking human convoy who fled gang-plagued Honduras, Guatemala and El Salvador around 6 weeks ago, igniting a political storm and prompting President Donald Trump to send U.S. troops to the border. Mexican officials revealed that around 200 migrants volunteered this week for repatriation, with more than 100 having already flown home from Tijuana's airport Monday. A further 98 were forcibly removed after Sunday's violent clashes at the border, when U.S. agents were accused of firing tear gas on a crowd of migrants, including kids. DailyMail.com toured the crumbling Benito Juarez sports complex Wednesday, where thousands of migrants have been bedded down for the past 2 weeks under tents or makeshift canopies built from ropes and plastic sheeting. A handful of desperate residents have even used twigs and branches to build nest-like homes, with the temperatures likely to turn chilly and rains forecast by the end of the week. The earliest arrivals were able to stake their claims to the limited space inside an indoor basketball court with bathrooms and showers. Some latecomers opted for the neighboring playground and garden areas, where there's at least trees for shade and shelter. The vast majority, however, are camped out on almost every spare inch of ground in the neighboring Little Padres baseball field, named in homage to the San Diego Padres MLB team which plays its games 20 miles north. Despite the trickle of migrants leaving voluntarily, the numbers are still growing by the day. Around 500 people arrived Tuesday, waiting in line for a wristband letting them come in and out. Some migrants have decided it's so overcrowded inside the camp that they would rather pitch their tents outside in the streets. A few feet away, vendors sell donuts and sugary cakes for 10 pesos. Lines for free plates of beans and rice supplied by the federal government snake hundreds of yards. Federal health workers and NGOs work from trucks, providing free health checkups and treating caravanners for head lice, blisters and flu. In the past few days they have had cases of pneumonia and chickenpox or chilling development in conditions ripe for an epidemic. People aren't able to take showers, they sleep on the floor, nobody is cleaning the bathrooms, so the conditions are there for a major infection," said Carlos Betanzos, a coordinator for Ministerios Nazarenos de Compasión, an evangelical aid group. The migrant caravan originated in Honduras on October 12, when it was erroneously reported on local TV that a radio host, Bartolo Fuentes, was willing to pay transportation costs for anyone traveling to the U.S. Around 150 migrants set off from the Honduran city of San Pedro Sula. By the time they crossed into Mexico 1 week later, the column had swollen to 7,200 participants. The mass movement inspired several more caravans to form in neighboring El Salvador amid a flurry of angry tweets from President Donald Trump, who vowed to repel what he described as an invasion. Supporters say the migrants are fleeing persecution and banding together so they are not preyed upon by gangs. Trump deployed 5,000 U.S. troops to the border after accusing the caravan of harboring an assortment of criminals, from violent MS-13 gangsters to Middle Eastern terrorists from ISIS. Sunday saw the first real clashes between migrants and U.S. security agents, who fired tear gas on a group of migrants, including children, who rushed the border around 10 blocks from the Benito Juarez sports complex. While the president was attacked in the media for his draconian response, many of the camp's residents told Daily Mail they blamed the 100 or so troublemakers who tried to storm the fences. Mexican officials deported 98 people for their part in the skirmish and have banned migrants from holding protest marches close to the border.